There has been a recent call from a group on the Independent National Electoral Commission to disqualify the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, over proposed 100 billion campaign funds. The proposed budget is outrageously above the 50 billion maximum expenses the Electoral Act 2022 stipulated for a presidential candidate to spend. However, the Constitution did not recommend disqualification of presidential candidates for spending beyond the stipulated expenses, but either to pay a fine or being jailed. As Peter Obi and his obedience movement buckled up ahead of the 90 days campaign, which will start on September 28, there has been controversy about disqualifying the presidential hopefuls. The call for Peter Obi's disqualification actually emanated from the decision of the national chairman of the Labour Party, Barrister Julius Abure, who inaugurated an 11-man diasporal committee to generate about $150 million and $100 billion crowdfunding for Obi's presidential campaign. This singular step has influenced the call for Obi's disqualification because Section 88 of the Electoral Act 2022, as amended, stipulated that the maximum election expenses to be incurred by a candidate at a presidential election shall not exceed $5 billion. No individual or other entity shall donate to a candidate more than $50 million. Although other entity is not specified, it could also mean a group or an organization. The section also specified that it must be in naira and not in foreign currencies, as the Labour Party had mentioned. Recall that the amount an individual can donate to a presidential candidate had earlier raised debates when the Director General of Tinubu Support Group (TSG), Aminu Suleiman, said he had signed an 100 million check to purchase the All Progressive Congress nomination and expression of interest form for Bola Tinubu. Bola Tinubu is the presidential candidate of the APC, but when the gesture was made, he was contesting for the party's primary. The gesture was rejected by the now ruling party flag bearer on the ground that an individual cannot donate more than 50 million to a presidential candidate. Thus, some persons have seen the move by the Labour Party and Peter Obi as a violation of the Electoral Act. However, violators of this section of the Electoral Act cannot be disqualified but only be fined or jailed. This is Section 88 subsection 9, 10 and 11 mentions the penalty for candidates violating the campaign finances provision. Section 9. A candidate who knowingly acts in contravention of this section commits an offence and is liable on conviction to a fine of 1% of the amount permitted as the limit of campaign expenditure under the Act or imprisonment for a time, not more than 12 months or both. Sub 10 says, any individual who knowingly acts in contravention of subsection 9 is liable on conviction to a maximum fine of 500,000 or imprisonment for a time of 9 months or both. While subsection 11 says, an accountant who forces or conspires or aids a candidate to forge or falsify a document relating to his expenditure at an election or receipt or donation for the election, or in any way aids or bets the contravention of the provisions of this section, commits an offence and is liable on conviction to a fine of 3 million or imprisonment for a term of 3 years or both.